witches!
Hi, hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Well of Ascension. I about said extension. Ascension,
You know,
which is the second book in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. So,
yeah, it is. And it's picking up and getting good and doing all the things.
we're getting into the thick of it, but we don't know where we're going.
No, we don't.
Anytime the three of us at work go on, like, someplace around the property, I immediately start singing that song. I was like, how am I a property manager when I act like a fucking child?
I'm literally managing an entire Head Start site. I'm responsible for 45 children and 12 adults. This is adulting, apparently.
Like, I sat there with my assistant today, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to do anything. I was like, all right, somebody needs to kill the internet so we can go home and work from home. And she's like, bet, don't say twice, I will go.
Right.
And then I was like, hey, let's go check this out. She goes, oh, I'm gonna come with. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then as soon as we go up the door, I was like, we're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. And she's like, our rocket ship's back at the clubhouse. And I was like, we're walking through the sky. And I was like, all right, I'm 32 years old. I should probably act my age.
Nah.
Growing up is for losers.
Age is a mindset.
I want to be a lost boy forever. Anyways, okay. So we just started part 2, Ghosts in the Mist. So we're on chapter 12.
And no worries, friends. We're not going to find out who the ghosts in the mists are in this episode.
But I have theories. So I'm excited. So we come up on Sazed and Marsh, and they're going to the some big ass castle out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. That was almost racist. Sorry, a little bit of my hometown came out.
Yeah.
Ew, bumfuck nowhere came out. And conventicle of
Saran.
I want to say Sauron so fucking bad.
Wrong series.
Anytime I see that word, I'm like, Sauron.
Wrong series. Yeah, and it's the like the fortress of their names just went Steel Inquisitors. I was like, what are they called? Oh my gosh, we're gonna be all right.
It's only Tuesday.
But they're not there. They are not there, and
which is why Marsh was like, we gotta go now.
Well, yeah, and they're like, it looks like they're headed west, or no, north. And Stacey's like, toward Luthadel, and Marsh is like, among other things. And I'm like, if that's where they're headed, shouldn't we like at least send a message or something to Ben and Elend?
Also, who are they going there for? Because like, there's an army outside of Luthadel. Like, where are we going? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
And here's the thing too. It's like terrifying in a way, because it's like, okay, first of all, where are they at? Why are they in this giant ass fucking fortress in the middle of nowhere? And I kept flipping back and forth between between the map. Oh look, that's my nephew. What a baby. I kept going in between like where, oh fuck, what is it called? I kept going in between the maps, the map in the page, and I was like, okay, where is he at? And he was in urban, right? Urbane. But either way, like it literally looks like they're in a fucking desert. So I'm like imagining some like Mad Max bullshit with like a giant made up fucking fortress of metal sheets.
Yeah. It
Covering
sounds
everything.
crazy. Well, and also, like, it's funny. I mean, I guess that's how they probably move through the fortress quickly. But, like, I feel like so many things were like, oh, the buttons were wood instead of metal. We have a glass dagger because they don't want a lot of metal because of the Mistborns. But the Steel Inquisitors are like, fuck that. Whole palace, metal.
Their fucking eyeballs made of metal.
Right? Like,
Which, okay, so remember last time I said, like, every single time I take like a look at I take a look at this and I'm like, man, who the fuck do these guys look like? And I had the pleasure of having 2 different copies of the book. So like this first one, you get like a kind of like a bird's front eye view of what they look like with their metal spikes through their eyes. But in my beautiful book that I'm actually reading, when you look at it, you get the front view or the side view, and let me tell you, how fucking terrifying is that?
yeah. Yeah.
I was like, the other view is a little bit nicer. This one's a little weird because you can actually see the spikes out the back of the skull better.
Yeah, because in this one, it almost just looks like little horns.
Yeah. And I like didn't even like when I first started reading this book, I like didn't even think about it. But then when I opened up the bigger one and I looked at it like for the first time, I was like, oh my god. So, yeah. But I think it's because they don't have eyeballs.
Yeah, the spikes
That's
are
how they
literally
see.
where their eyeballs would be.
So that's probably why they're like everything is made up of metal. But what's really weird is like when they're going through the tower, I guess, the castle of some sort, they find like piles of corpses. But it doesn't look like a massacre. And from the previous book, we know that Steel Inquisitors like murder the fuck out of them and like brutalize them. But it wasn't like a simple like I'm just gonna die sort of thing. Like I'm just gonna be like laid here to starve to death. There was actual blood. So then it's like, but it wasn't as brutal as what we've known the Steel Inquisitors to be. So like, did they actually kill them, or was it some other force that came through? Is that why they're not there anymore? Did they leave knowing it was coming? They felt it in their steel eyes. Like,
I just wanna though shout out how freaking cool Sazed is, because he's like they have to go down like this like fucking cliff to get to the thing.
He's like, watch me do my thing.
Well, yeah, but he's also like, I don't think Marsh realizes that this is not my strong suit. And then he goes right on ahead and like fucking just
leaps.
Yeah, fucking does the damn thing, and he like puts his weight into a metal mine so he's not as heavy.
Yeah, so he's like floating down.
Yeah.
So like slowly.
Yeah. And then he uses some strength that he had stored up so he doesn't fucking die on impact. And it's just like really cool.
Yeah, because Marsh is just like, okay, here we go. We're gonna ride the rope down.
Yeah. I think that Farukami is so much cooler than Alamancy.
Yeah, I think it I don't understand it. Like when also I said that incorrectly last night. It was like Farukami. I was like Farukami. Farukami. Where in the fucking English language does this bullshit look like that?
I'm calling it Farukami.
It sounds better like that. Feruchemy just sounds like you're trying to pronounce something that makes no sense. But anyways,
Yeah.
I don't understand it because he's like, oh yeah, I have a tin mind and I have this mind. And it's like, what do you mean? Like when you say tin mind, like I want to know more about that.
So I think it's like a piece of jewelry that he has stored like eyesight or something like that in.
Like a tin mind, I think it's eyesight.
Yeah, so I wonder if it has to be made of tin for him to store it in there. That part I don't know, but
I wonder if it has something to do with like alloys or whatever.
yeah, probably.
If like maybe the alloys is actually like made not necessarily made by like terrorist people, but like I don't know, something.
Oh, we also learned another interesting thing about the Inquisitors at the beginning of this, or kind of the beginning of this chapter. Marsh is able to just walk into this pitch black fortress and be able to see. So he has to like go in there and find a lamp for Sazed. And he does, but like he doesn't need light to see, which is interesting. It makes sense because he doesn't fucking have eyeballs. So like,
yeah, it's just so crazy because he just like walks in like, oh okay, whatever, we're fine, and then he's like, excuse me, I can't see anything.
yeah. I just like I need so much more information about the Inquisitors, and I feel like we're gonna maybe get it.
Yeah,
but I want it.
It's I don't know.
And then also, I would like to know why the fuck everyone is killed.
Yeah, see, that just doesn't make any sense because every single time that we would always talk about like whenever an Inquisitor came, like for instance, when the Inquisitor came to Vin's old hideout, Camden's or Camden's hideout, they like completely and utterly brutalized everybody, like left them no mercy whatsoever. And just because the Lord Ruler is gone doesn't mean that you're not going to turn to you just like that. Like you don't lose that thing. The only reason why Marsh is still the way that he is that he's kept his mind like intact with everything else.
Right.
But like you can't you can't like sit there and like, oh yeah, they just fucking killed them. Not as bad as they could have, but they just killed them. Like, no, there's something weird happening.
Yeah, something strange is happening here because they just like it says they were killed by what looked like harsh sword or axe strokes, but they weren't like obliterated. They were just cut down, and that's not the kind of scene we usually see from the Inquisitors.
Yeah. So I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was like the mists.
I was thinking that too, like the whatever is in the mists right now that Vin keeps saying.
Yeah. Well, and I mean it's kind of weird because like that guy just basically just like dropped dead as if he had like a heart attack and he just like keeled over. Like you couldn't see a problem with that farmer, but that was the end of it. He just went over. And with that, it's like, okay, but what killed him and how did it kill him? And now it's not as brutal as it could be, but it's not like a typical mist killing, but it's also not a Steel Inquisitor killing. So like,
yeah,
who is it and why is it happening?
Yeah, it's weird. Well, and then so yeah, it's weird. I don't know. But I also Sazed is an interesting dude. And I know part of it is like his terrorist culture. He just has to record things, but going through the Steel Inquisitor Fortress, he is like recording everything about it because he's recording that religion. And it's cracking me up because Marsha's like, we gotta hurry, and says it's like, okay, the walls were steel and
can't see shit. Okay.
The stairwell ends in another large room. There are no doors in the doorway here. Like, he just keeps going. And then they find this room, or he finds this room that he thinks at first is like maybe a torture chamber, but ultimately he decides that maybe it's the kind of room where they made the Steel Inquisitors. Or he does say, though, that there are spikes like the ones in the Inquisitor's eyes, but there are some that are different metals. And I'm like, were they trying to make other types of Inquisitors?
See, I was wondering that too. Like, are they trying to create like an army themselves to?
Yeah.
So, like, are we gonna have another army show up?
Yeah.
Outside the walls? I don't know. Crazy shit, though.
It is. And, like, because the Steel Inquisitors are basically, like, Mistborns. They can do kind of all of it.
They can do everything. And they can pierce.
Yeah.
Wherever the
copper clouds are,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like, would there be something different about them if they used a different type of metal for their spikes? Like, would that change something? I don't know.
The world may never know. Yo, that'd be dope, though.
Right.
Changing their spikes.
If they had like
let
a
me just change my eyeball.
Specialty.
Don't worry about me. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
My automatic vacuum failed to return to its thing. Let me tell you, ever since we got this thing, I've been getting more notifications about, not even about like issues, it's just like caught on a cord.
And you're like valid, it's like having a puppy.
Yeah, and you're just like, fuck, okay, come on. So then you pick it up, pull the cord out, and it's got like mopping attached to it, so sometimes the cord will get like wrapped up, and it's like,
oh god.
And I named it Flubber, so it says Flubber is stuck. I'm like, damn it, okay. So then I know, like, oh, okay, this can't be here. Like, I come into the bedroom and like my recording lamp is like knocked over, laying onto my crystals, and then like the dog food bowl is like all out, and I'm like, Flubber was in here.
That's amazing.
God damn it. Anyways, go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. The last part of this chapter is that they find this like dead end at the bottom of a staircase that's got like writing on it.
Oh yeah, I was like, I wonder. So I was questioning too if,
and it's like the terrorist religion.
Yeah, and that's something new too. And I wonder too, because like during this part, Sazed starts getting very melancholy in a way.
Yeah.
Like, should I return to Luthadel? Should I do this? Should I do that? I am not like a typical terrorist person. So like, and I kind of wonder if he's not necessarily, because obviously he wants to be in Luthadel. He wants to fight. He wanted to fight in the rebellion. Like, he wants to help things succeed, all of that. And because he has a duty as a keeper, he is now able to spread all that information around, which is fine. But he's so used to living one life that I wonder if he is feeling guilty about not completing that journey rather than being guilty about like these people not wanting to take the change.
It's almost one of those things about like he feels like honor bound to his duty, but also he is trying to follow his heart kind of vibe. Like, his heart is like, I want to go to
he's a
Luthadel. I want to be with the crew.
princess.
Yeah.
Oh, who would that be? It's like a specific princess I'm like thinking in my brain. It's Ting Ting, Ming Ming, and Ling Ling.
Mulan.
Mulan too.
Yeah, the second one.
I was like, man, why am I like picturing something? I feel like it's a Mulan, and I was like, it can't be Mulan because Mulan was not like that. She went against the grain of duty.
Yeah. But the second one, her sister. Yeah.
Well, yeah. 3 princesses.
Her sister. Oh, yeah, it's not her sister. It's the princesses. I don't know.
It's fine. I agreed with you, and then I finally heard what you said, and I was like, wait, no. She's got a little brother.
It's been a minute since I've seen that movie.
Sometimes I get into like a Disney, I want to watch this show kind of thing.
I do too.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's chapter 12.
Chapter 13. Honestly.
Go ahead.
This was crazy.
Orsur is nuts. Orsur is nuts.
Orsur, yeah.
Like, the way that he enjoys forcing Vin to command him is a little creepy.
It's like, sir, you're telling a 19-year-old girl to be uncomfortable.
Right, to like...
I don't know what you are, who you are, whatever the case may be. That's a little fucking weird.
Yeah. I jumped around a lot in this chapter. Like, I kind of skipped multiple pages. So at first, they're talking about the mist and how it's coming during the day, or like while it's still light out. And then they're trying to figure... She's like questioning him about the Kandra to try to figure out how she can determine who the second Kandra is. Mm-hmm. And this is where he's like, I'm not going to willingly tell you, but if you command me...
Then I guess I have no choice.
Yeah. So she's like...
We do learn a little bit about Akandra, though.
We do.
Much, but enough to kind of get going. So, like, Vin can use her powers to test people to make sure that they are actively, you know, whatever. And then they're not ferocamists, so...
Right.
Other than that, you got the Mistines, the Mistborns, and the terrorist people. Good to go.
Yeah, so she can riot or soothe their emotions, and it won't have any effect on Akandra. And if they took the body of an Allomancer, they won't be able to use those powers.
I kind of wonder, not that it's like, because we obviously know it's not Sazed. We know it's not, he's not even there. I honestly think it's just like a regular person.
Right, like a
servant.
Or a...
Like, what if it's like Captain Demo or something like that, or Demu?
Yeah. A soldier, or... Yeah.
I don't know. But
I don't know. But she's trying to figure out how to, like, figure out who it is. And she's trying to come up with a plan. And she does learn that Kandras can refuse to answer certain things. Like, certain things about Kandra nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting. On page 145, she has like chased the Watcher.
She's having fun with us too. It's not like bad.
Or wait, is that what's happening right now? Let me look at what I'm talking about.
You did write down a page number. You have the ability to do so. While you figure that out, I am going to say we've been speaking a lot about Alendi in like the tiny little the tiny little things, blurbs before the chapters start. I wonder if what Sazed found is Alendi handwriting or like from his time.
Yeah.
And like perhaps he was the first person in the Well of Ascension. Because we don't know who Alendi is. We know who Rashik is. Rashik was the Lord Ruler. We never really got to know his actual, like the person he was following. We never actually got to know his name. So it very well could be Alendi, but I feel like Alendi is one of those names that would be of a Terrace person. And the Well of Ascension is in Terrace land, so perhaps it's Alendi that we're talking about. But
yeah. I figured it out. It's not the Watcher. It's the ghost in the mist that she sees, and she's like asking it like, why have you been watching me?
What's creepy is she's basically just talking to like a black hole.
Yeah, and but it's using allomancy because that's how she knew it was there.
I wonder if the whatever is not actually using allomancy, if it is like, you know how you don't have onions on you, but some people smell like onions, like
right, like it's like an echo or something.
Yeah, so like maybe she senses it and sees it and knows it, but it's not like actively being used.
It could be.
Like maybe it's like the way Steel Inquisitors see.
Right. Yeah. But when she sees it and she's like yelling at it, something grabs her arm. But this, like, the spirit disappears and then something grabs her arm. And it, like, basically knocks her out, kind of.
Like the world flips out, basically.
Yeah. And she falls out of the window and like has a chill in her arm that doesn't go away. And it's just really weird. It's a really weird situation. So I wrote what the fuck, and that's what I was trying to figure out.
I think the black hole sort of like thing that she's describing is the deepness.
Yeah.
Like low-key, I feel like the Lord Ruler took power that was not supposed to be him. And basically he says, you did this to doom us all. Like that's kind of like a key point here. Like they wouldn't have said it if it's not important. That was last book. That could have been like a villain's final word, but they brought it back. And now we're seeing this weird ass mist thing. So I wonder if this is like the power from the like Well of Ascension or something like that like was released because the wrong person got it. I don't know.
Yeah. Could be. I don't know. So then we switched to Island and the crew, and he's like, any of these men could be an imposter in his head, and he's like, I don't know what to do. We're like, this is more Vin's area of expertise. And I'm like, I'm kind of surprised knowing there's a second Chandra on the loose and that it could be fucking anyone. She's willing to leave his side.
Yeah, honestly, especially if they haven't figured out if it's a servant or not.
Right, they have no idea. It could be one of the crew for all she knows. Like
she needs to get she basically needs to have Ellen do like a rally of some sort or whatever, and then of like little groups. So like the house staff, get them all together as what's his face is talking, and then she's in the background like projecting feelings, and then whoever doesn't riot, then you search into them. Like,
yeah, yep, something.
bitch, that's what Kelsier did.
It could even be the someone on the
Inner Circle.
No, like all the people, the eight
assembly.
The assembly. I knew it started with an A. I just couldn't remember what the word was. Could be somebody on the assembly too. Assembly.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
What's crazy is it could probably be like, it's probably that one guy that like just like commands attention and then just says something and then everybody agrees with him like immediately, no concern whatsoever.
Could be. Yeah,
that would be terrifying,
right? But that would be the smart person for someone to take over because they're gonna,
because of that.
Yeah, they have that influence. So,
and he was when he was like, well, we just got to decide who we want to partner with. He could very well be playing both fields and being like, yeah, we need to partner with this person or we need to partner with that person because of these reasons. But really, they're like with Straff Venture.
Yeah. Speaking of trying to decide who to partner with, it's a little frustrated with the crew because while Ellen was grabbing materials to tell them about his plan, they just started
without him.
Yeah, like they just decided like this is what we should do. We should pick set because blah 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 blah.
And it's one thing to like bounce off ideas for like when he comes back and like, hey, we bounced off a couple ideas. What do you think?
Yeah.
No, they just are like, no, we already started. This is what we think. And it's like, damn.
Right. Like, okay, rude. Like, that's not showing much confidence in your ruler or the person that you're trying to have be the ruler. But thankfully, Ellen doesn't just say, like, okay. He's like, no, you're going to hear my fucking ideas. And I think that his plan, they're kind of like, that's insane. And it would take the right ruler to pull it off. And
it would take Kelsier to pull it off, is what they're all saying.
Yeah, but I feel like his plan has Kelsier vibes.
Oh, it does. And like, because Vincent told him.
But right, but like also like Kelsier's badass plans worked. And yes, some of that had to do with him being the one to put them into place. But like, it's worth a try because if you're being real, honestly, they're not going to come in and just be like, oh, that's fine. You can just stay. No, when a command or like a conquering army takes over, they tend to kill the whole like ruling inner circle.
Men, women, children, everything. Everyone is executed. And no, like, not that Russia was around during like in this book or anything like that, but like that's exactly what happened. As soon as Lenin had a stroke, heart attack, whatever, that left him very difficult, like hard to like speak and do all of that. That's when Stalin came in and was like, we're besties. He wants me to take over after him. Thank you. And then as soon as that happened and he like took everything out, he immediately murdered anybody that could go against him. Like,
right. Like, so if they think that just by siding with one of these outsiders, they're gonna just, you know, be fine.
Yeah,
that's not how this works. So, yeah. And then a character that I was very excited to learn more about shows up.
Yeah, they captured the terrorist woman because she's like eavesdropping.
Yeah. And she's like, I need to talk to you by yourself. And it's funny because she's like, I'm sure the little Mistborn outside the window won't let anything happen to you. She's not fucking there.
Well, and I think it's...
Oh, I guess I just skipped to the next chapter, but...
You're fine. Chapter 14. They definitely, like, leave him alone. He goes, oh, I'm fine. Vin's right outside the window, whatever. And as soon as like they leave, she immediately like breaks her bullshit, which is great because that means that she is not a Chondra. However, why are you coming at me like that so aggressively?
Right, like we don't know anything about her.
But okay, so we like learn more about her. So essentially she is wanting to be his advisor, not like really wanting to be his advisor, more like demanding and commanding that she is the advisor.
Yeah, and then if he doesn't listen to her, then he's not going to be a successful ruler, and he's got bad posture, and he doesn't speak well. And
yeah, and like basically called him an idiot or a fool.
Yeah, a fool.
So,
but yeah, it's hilarious. She's like, if you want to be successful, you have to fucking listen to me. And at first he's like, fuck you, but she's not wrong.
No, and honestly, I understand like why she was eavesdropping. It wasn't and it could very well be like like this weird like, oh shit, that was her all along, like kind of moment. But to be fair, if I like see some bullshit happening and I'm trying to fix it like this bitch is doing, to be quite honest, I would probably like, she was at the assembly, so she saw how the assembly members, how the people of the town treated him. Mm-hmm. But this is the inner circle. This is like the friend group. This is the like, how are these people treating each other sort of deal. And so she listens in on it and sees it. Well, hears it, I guess. Yeah. And like that kind of starts, oh, this is how we need to train him to be a better ruler.
Yeah, and then she intentionally gets caught so she can have a moment with him, and I'm just like, I fucking love her. Like, yeah, right now, like, she's my favorite character. I'll talk to the king.
Sazed's about to be here, and then he's gonna be the favorite again, but...
Yeah. Give Sazed a minute, but right now, is it Tindwyl? Tindwyl?
I don't know. I looked at Will. I was like, "How the fuck do you say this name?" And he looked at it and he goes, "I don't remember, to be quite honest. We'll have to listen to it." And I was like, "Tindwyl, it is then."
That's what I've been saying in my head is Tindwyl.
I think I call it like Twindle a few times here and there.
I mean, yeah, it's an interestingly spelled name, so that's fair. But I just love it. And he's basically like, okay, fine. Like, what should I begin practicing? And she's like, yes. Or is there anything I should begin practicing? Yes. Stop saying,
And she's walking out the fucking door.
Yeah, and then she just leaves. And he's like, find her a room in the palace. She's a friend of Sazed's. Ham's like, okay, whatever. Like,
it's your neck on the line, not mine.
Then Vin comes back. And right away, on page 163, they're like chatting back and forth. And they start keeping secrets from each other. Like fucking immediately.
I know that's like a common trope in a lot of these books, but it's quite annoying. Because you're just like, are you not seeing any of this bullshit right here?
Right. But yeah, so he's like, I assume the patrol tonight was uneventful at the bottom of 163. And she's like, in her head, the mist spirit, her fall, the chill she could still feel. And then she goes, it was. Like, which is partially because the last time she told him about the mist spirit, he was like, oh, you were just seeing things like that. It was just a weird shape in the mist, like, kind of blew it off. But also, like, then... Have you not learned anything? Like, you learned that you could trust Kelsier and the crew, and you learned that you could trust Ellen. Like, he's proved himself over and over again. Don't start hiding things. Especially in the middle of a war. Like, communication is key, people.
Right. Well, here's the thing, too. Like, at the bottom of 166, she's like, the thief in her, the paranoid girl, and Ellen always teased she used allomancy on him to test him to see if he reacted to her pulses and pulls. She stopped herself. This man she would trust, the other she would test, but she would not question Ellen. In a way, she'd rather trust him and be wrong than deal with the worry of mistrust. And then she goes, I finally understand, she thought with the start, Kelsier. I understand what it was like for you and Mare. I won't make your same mistake again, because like he immediately believed that Mare
Betrayed
like
him.
betrayed him, and like that distrust followed him forever.
Yep.
And then find out that Mare actually didn't betray him, and then like that he was fucking guilty
Yep.
for doing that. So she is like, okay, this one I won't question.
My heart will fucking break if it is Ellen. I'm just saying.
Honestly, though.
It will break. And so will Vince, but like, I will break. Anyway.
Hey, if it is Ellen, that Condra is damn good.
Right?
That's a master at work, right?
Right? Ugh. And then there's more of them discussing the deepness and the Lord Ruler, and like, was the Lord Ruler holding back the deepness? Like, we kind of already talked about that, but they're talking about it now. And then they're like kind of flirting, and then she's like, I will not fear you, and I will find out your secret to the mist.
Yeah, and then she goes back out.
But I literally wrote on the last page of this chapter, if the Kendra does end up being Ellen, I'm going to flip tables. I thought that I wrote it somewhere, but I didn't see it, and it was at the end of the chapter. So that was the end of chapter 14.
So chapter 15, we're back with Sazed, and Sazed wakes up by himself. First of all, Marsh, what the fuck? Where are you at? Like, right. Was this just like a little teaser of telling him, like, all right, go to Luthadel, see you there, kind of thing?
Yeah. And so like they
like,
were
in the middle of nowhere by himself. Okay, so while she is having her sneeze attack, basically, we're out in the middle of nowhere, and he's like in the blazing red sun, and he's like, all right, well, this should be over here. I should be okay. If this could go over here, I'll be okay. Urban, that's where he wasn't there originally. He was there in the like. That's where he goes to get some food or whatever. And then when he gets there, it's not what he imagined.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite.
Yeah, everyone
is dead.
Everyone is dead.
And no signs of struggle, no signs of mass attack.
Woundless corpses, like.
And it's not like they're like in dilapidated places as if like a storm rolled through or something. Like, no. They're expertly made. They're essentially ska of a nobleman that lives in a countryside, picturesque Italian type of villa.
Yeah, and he says these people had died of starvation and dehydration. What?
No. Because there's food running rampant.
Right. But if the mists are coming during the day and attacking them, then they wouldn't be going out to get to the livestock to butcher it or to get to the water.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that makes sense, but... So he finds these, like, this couple of people, like, essentially laying on the ground outside of this house. And then he goes inside and he just sees more of the same. And he, like, touches one of them, and one of them, like, jumps back, like, freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of crazed in a way.
Yeah.
And he's essentially saying, like, this is how I survived. He basically played dead, and he's, like, eating off the corpses.
Yeah, he's being a cannibal.
And, you know, I don't want to say, like, I will never do that.
Because you never know when you're actually in that situation.
Yeah, like, you might even, like, your animal instincts might kick in, and you'll be like, I don't give a fuck.
Well, and this guy is clearly, like, he's out of his mind. Like,
yeah. Because he's like, afraid to go out into the mist. He's calling people who've left, like, essentially, like, some of them died, some of them made it, some of them barely made it outside, and, like, he basically was talking about the people at the threshold of the house. And I wonder if, like, they're essentially saying, like, this isn't a problem. I'm just gonna go outside.
Right.
And then they just go outside, and then all of a sudden they die. And then the people in the house die because they have access essentially inside the house. Because, like, what if he can't go inside, or, like, the mist can't go inside the houses?
I don't know. But, like, some of the people in there are dead.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when they
But
opened up the door,
the
mist came in. This is a different type of mist.
Truly just died from starvation.
But they did. This is like a sentient mist that does shit on its own.
Yeah. And this guy is like the Lord Ruler. Why did he abandon us? Why did he go? Says it's like he was a tyrant. He's like, no, he kept us safe. Like, the mist kill us now. They hate us. And
well, and I think the mist came around once the Lord Ruler came to be.
Yeah, but they didn't kill people.
No. So perhaps he was holding back him, like, with a power or whatever, and now after a year, like, it's finally set free.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's all I wrote for that chapter, because it was really weird.
I was just saying that's got to be the deepness. There ain't no fucking way.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just weird because it's like, that's all the way south. Like, aren't you supposed to be coming from, like, the Well of Ascension? Or, like, the idea, right. I should say. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling we're not going to know till the last 100 pages.
That's so true, though. But
chapter 16.
Final chapter. Listen, I honestly thought I was really confused for a little bit of this. I thought Vin had gone kind of crazy.
My eye was twitching so hard during this
I know. She was, like, taking the logbook of who they suspected was the Lord Ruler. It turns out it wasn't the Lord Ruler, dude. But they took his logbook and she, like, essentially ripped it apart and put it in piles of pages.
My eye was twitching. She took the book apart.
Yeah, each pile had its, like, own thing. Like, this is about monsters, this is about the Well of Ascension, or, like, all of that kind of, like, she's categorizing it, which is fine. But use a sticky note for that bullshit.
Thank you. They probably don't have sticky notes, though.
Okay, use
like a feather or something. Put like put like strips of
Black
paper.
Feathers mean monsters.
I agree.
Like, she's like crawling around on the floor, like, to all these different piles. I'm like, how do you fucking remember what any of these piles are? Like, write down this shit. Page 14.
Yeah. And Ursula is like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, well, you don't care how I spend my time. And he's like, I don't, but I'm bored.
Same. Well, it's funny too, because, like, towards the end of it, she's like, it's already been a couple of hours and I'm already a slow reader, and comprehension is not there because I get distracted. And I was like, fuck, dude, me too, I understand. And I'm only a slow reader because I get distracted. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this instead.
Yeah, this tearing up the book stresses me out. Like, did you at least number the pages first so you can put it back correctly?
I know, and that's the thing too, because she, like, made something at the end of it. She goes, oh, he started going insane around here and he did it in order. And I was like, yeah, it was already in fucking order when you ripped the book apart.
Right.
He didn't, like, go to the back of the page and, like, write out his memoir and then, like, go back to the front and then go to the middle. What the fuck?
Yeah, and then it very abruptly switches to Ellen and Clubs. And they've, like, started to put their plan into motion, kind of. Ellen has sent letters to both of the like Set and his dad, which Strath.
Did you call him Set? Oh, Ket.
Ket. Is it Ket?
I don't
In my head,
know.
I was saying Set. Anyway,
I thought you were trying to say
the other
Strath's
guy.
name.
No. But he's like started kind of like sending them letters so he can start playing both sides. So yeah, and then Tindwell is there, and Clubs is like, she said to send you down, and so he does. And I kind of feel like she is going to end up being some type of villain. Just because, first of all, I really like her, and that fucking happens to me every time. But also because they keep like, Clubs is like, you're sure she's safe? And he's like, yes, her story checks out. Vin brought in several of the terrorist people from the city. So like, they're like clearing her of any
wrongdoing.
Yeah, any wrongdoing, any suspicion, which makes me think that maybe she actually is bad.
Yeah. It's just suspicious.
But in any event, I fucking love her. Because she
lights a fire under his ass, and that's good.
She does it. And he's like, I don't see what's wrong with my clothes. Like, this is what I'm wearing. And she says, it's disgraceful. Now I hardly see, don't argue with me. But see, the other day you said, kings don't argue, ill adventure. They command. And like, she just is kind of an asshole to him to get his like kingliness to come out.
Yeah.
And so they put him in a uniform that's basically like a warrior, makes him look like a warrior. And he's like, this is a lie. I am not a warrior. And she's like, okay, we're going to work on that. So for now, we're going to give the appearance that you are. And then eventually, hopefully you really will be. And he is like, she wants his haircut. And he's like, no. And then he looks in the mirror with the uniform on. And
he's like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, fuck, okay, cut it off. Like, God damn it. So they do, and then she gives him a wooden crown. And he's like, the Lord Ruler didn't wear a crown. And she says, the Lord Ruler didn't need to remind people that he was in charge. Oh!
I mean, you ain't wrong.
Right, like, and he's like, fuck, okay. So he puts on the crown. And it's like, not like a big, like, ostentatious, crazy, jeweled crown. It's just a little wooden circlet painted silver. And she's basically like, you have 6 of these uniforms. Until this siege is over, you will wear nothing else. You can change the color of the cape, but that is it. And then he's basically like, okay, like, looking in the mirror, he's like, I see it. You're right. Like, I get it. Then they get a messenger from Strath and Demu,
maybe, I don't know.
I feel like it's Demu because Renew was spelled like the same way.
Lord Renew.
Yeah. But who knows? But he's like, where is Vin? And he's like, I think she's in her quarters. And this is where, if she would have just told him the truth the other night, he wouldn't be freaking out right now, because he's like, her quarters, is she sick? She never stays in there. What's going on? Like, she's in there researching the mist ghosts, or the ghost in the mist, whatever she's calling it. And if she would have just told him about it, then he would know what she was doing. But instead, he's freaking out.
communication. It saves hearts.
It saves lots of things. But she, at the towards the end of the chapter, he's like looking back to Tyndall, because she's like, you can fake being a king with this outfit until you actually learn to be one. And she's like, I'm gonna learn to do more than merely fake being a king, Tyndall. And gives her like a regal look, and she's like, we'll see. Practice expressions like that one, and you might just do it. And he's like, what do you think makes a good king, Tyndall of Terras? And she says, trust. A good king is one who is trusted by his people and one who deserves that trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't know what that feels
Tyndall.
like, but yeah, this was the first time in this book that I was like, I don't want to stop reading right now. I want to keep going. Which is exciting, because that means it's going to start getting good, and it's going to be a lot easier to get through the rest of it.
Yeah, and I was telling Will's like, how are you enjoying the book? And I was like, it's not bad.
It was hard to get back into it, and I think part of that is that it had been so long since we read the first one that at first I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I caught up pretty quickly, as just like timing wise, but it's more like, fuck, I'm so tired, like I just don't want to think. And I enjoy reading, and it's just sometimes I feel like it's a chore.
When I have to take notes, sometimes yes, it does feel more like a chore. Or when there's a deadline, it does feel like more like a chore. Because reading for the podcast is definitely less relaxing than just reading.
I am relaxed when I'm reading, but I have a tendency to count down how many pages I have left in a chapter.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? I enjoy reading so much. Why am I doing this to I don't know, but it's gonna get good, so that's all that matters. But until next time,
bye.